Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when this finds you. Just want to bit, of late, I've been talking about school, the system, and conformity, solitude, and herd mentality. And this is going to be, you know, somewhat along the same lines of that. Just a difference being to make you think about some things in a different manner. And because it seems like for many people, getting ahead of things seems difficult because most people have no clue why things are the way they are. Everything we do has become so normalized that most don't even understand how we got here. I read something the other day that said those who know the least obey the best. And your parents and my parents taught us to go into the new slavery. And what do I mean by that? I mean, because, yeah, black folks know about the history of slavery, but it's told from a viewpoint of the people who actually own our ancestors. And that's not an accident. That's a deliberate plan. Why is it when we were in school, the only history most of us were ever taught was that of slavery? And in subsequent years, those of us who came later, I guess Generation X, because up to the baby boomers, most of them of our history was taught to them was slavery only. And, of course, they had the Jim Crow and all that other stuff. But, of course, the school system didn't want to teach about that type of stuff because it painted them in a negative light. But by the time Generation X was born, my generation, they had added in Martin Luther King. And those oppressors had to let our ancestors go reluctantly. So they needed to figure out a way to get them back and make it look nice. Well, John D. Rockefeller created something called a General Education Board, which is now known as the public school system. And guess where John Rockefeller put the money first? In black neighborhoods to build schools for black students. And see, the school system was built to create good slaves. And good slaves never think of rebelling. Good slaves never think of leaving their comfort zones. Good slaves do what they can to protect the master's business model. Good slaves will promote the interests of the master and for the master, I guess I should say. Um, Good slaves will teach their children that going to a more comfortable plantation is the way to go. See, Julius Rosenwald, Rabbi Stephen Wise, and Laura Spelman Rockefeller are just a few names of those who funded, founded, and financed many of your HBCUs. And see, the same group of people who enslaved our ancestors are literally the same people who gave us public schools and universities. Amazingly, these people slowly minimized the mistreatment of our ancestors by their ancestors, and then they came up with this imaginary number of 6 million right before slavery had ended and taught us that foolishness. Do you think they were really concerned about educating us? I mean, really? After oppressing our ancestors, the oppressors would later establish the public school system. And then we attended the oppressors' K through 12 schools, learning the oppressor's ways and the oppressor's history. Then, if we want to attend college, we take out a student loan from the oppressor's banking institution to attend a university that the oppressor founded, unless we are fortunate enough to get a scholarship from the oppressor. If we don't choose to attend college or don't get good enough grades learning the oppressor's history, many will choose the oppressor's military to go and fight other marginalized people around the world whose resources the oppressor wants to steal. Some eventually choose a career path in the oppressor's military. But for those who have chosen to attend the oppressor's colleges, you then go to apply for a job at a company that the oppressor created, which pays you a limited salary that won't even pay off your loan that you took from the oppressor. Then you have to take a part of the limited salary that the oppressor pays you, and you pay the oppressor for the money the oppressor loaned you to get educated at the oppressor's institute, and you pay to the oppressor's other institute while living in a house or apartment that the oppressor owns. See, we live in a house that's taxed by the oppressor. We drive a car that is taxed by the oppressor. We live in a house that's owned by the oppressor. We drive a car from a company that we got that's owned by the oppressor. We buy tax gas from the oppressor. When we die, our descendants have to pay taxes to the oppressor that we have already paid taxes on to the oppressor on everything they've been taxed on again. And at the end of the week, the oppressor allows us some free time, some time off to ease the pain he's created. So many of us will get to the end of the week and we can't wait to watch professional sports teams that are owned by the oppressor. Old R&B singer Johnny Taylor has a song titled Still Called the Blues. And in that song, one of the verses says, you party on a Saturday, you go to church on Sunday, fun leaves you because you got to go back to work on Monday. And any way you look at it, it's still called the blues. I'll talk to you later.